Hey, I'm Alex, and this is Wealth Unspoken. So, did you know that Jeff Bezos literally walks out of his own meetings? Yep, he does. And I thought it sounded crazy. But I learned that he does this for a specific reason. His meeting rule is something that most leaders will never follow. He walks out not because he's rude, not because he's too important to attend, but because he has a rule. And it's one of the main reasons Amazon became what it is today. When I first heard about this, I thought it sounded crazy. Walking out of your own meetings? Like, wow, that's disrespectful, right? I was wrong, because Bezos isn't walking out randomly, he's walking out strategically. And once you understand why, you'll never look at meetings the same way again. Here's what most people don't understand about meetings. They're expensive, not just in terms of money, but in terms of time and momentum. Think about it. You get 10 people in a room for an hour. That's 10 hours of combined productivity that is gone. If those people make $50 an hour, that meeting just cost $500. And most meetings, they produce nothing. No decisions, no action, and no progress. Just talk. Bezos figured this out early, and he created a rule to fix it. A rule so simple and so effective that it changed how Amazon operates. But most leaders will never implement it because it requires something most people don't have, and that's the guts to walk out. All right, here's the rule. Bezos calls it the 2-pizza rule. If you can't feed everyone in the meeting with 2 pizzas, the meeting is too big. When I first heard this, I thought it was some silly food rule. It's not. It's about something way more important. It's about group size. Here's what Bezos understands that most leaders don't. The more people you add to a meeting, the less that gets done. With 3 people, you can make decisions. With 5 people, you can still move fast. With 10 people, you're slowing down. With 20 people, pretty much nothing happens. Because every person added to a meeting adds complexity. More opinions, more egos, more politics, and more time wasted trying to get everyone aligned. So Bezos set a hard limit. If the meeting requires more than 8 to 10 people, which is roughly 2 pizzas, it's too big of a meeting. And if you're in a meeting that's too big, he walks out. Not to be dramatic, but to send a message that this meeting shouldn't exist. Here's the second part of the rule. And this is where it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Most people in most meetings don't need to be there. I learned this the hard way early in my career. I'd sit in meetings because I thought I should be there, because I wanted to be included, because I didn't want to miss out. But here's the truth. If you're not speaking, if you're not deciding, if you're not contributing, you're wasting your time. And you're wasting everyone else's time too. Bezos doesn't tolerate this. If someone's in a meeting and they're not essential to the decision being made, he'll ask them to leave. Not rudely, but directly. Do you need to be here? And if the answer is no, they leave. Because Amazon's time is too valuable to waste on people who don't need to be in the room. Most leaders can't do this. They're too worried about hurting feelings, about excluding people, about seeming mean. But Bezos doesn't care about feelings. He cares about results. And results require focus, not crowds. Here's the third part of the rule. Every meeting needs one decision maker, not a committee. Just one person who has the final say. This is where most meetings fall apart. You get 10 people in a room and everyone thinks they have equal input, so you spend an hour debating, and at the end, nothing's decided because no one had the authority to decide. Bezos fixed this at Amazon. Every meeting has an owner, one person who is responsible for the decision. Everyone else is there to provide input, but only the meeting owner decides. And if you're not the meeting owner and you're not providing essential input, you shouldn't be there. This is why Bezos walks out of meetings. If he's not the decision maker and his input isn't essential, he leaves because his time is better spent elsewhere. And when a billionaire CEO walks out of his own meeting, it sends a message to the entire company. Meetings aren't sacred, they're tools. And if the tool isn't working, you put it down and you stop using it. Here's something else Bezos does that most leaders don't. He banned PowerPoint. At Amazon, if you want to pitch an idea, you don't make slides. You write a 6-page memo. And everyone reads it in silence at the start of the meeting. It's basically a 30-minute study hall from high school. When I first heard about this, I thought it sounded insane. Like, why would you waste the first 30 minutes of a meeting just to read a memo? But then I understood. PowerPoint lets you hide behind bullet points. You can be vague. You can gloss over details. You can present something that sounds good but doesn't make sense. PowerPoints are designed to persuade, not to get people to think. A 6-page memo forces you to think, to be clear, to explain your reasoning, and to address the hard questions. A memo or document of this size takes time, thought, writing, editing, and studying and researching your topic. And when everyone reads the same memo at the same time, it eliminates the problem of people showing up unprepared. Everyone starts on the same page, literally. And if the memo is bad, if it's unclear, if it's half-baked, if it doesn't make sense, the meeting ends. No discussion, no debate. Just come back when you've thought this through. Bezos walks out of meetings where the thinking isn't clear because unclear thinking wastes time. And at Amazon, time is the most valuable resource. Here's the final piece. And this is the one most people in corporate America need to hear. Most meetings should be emails. Seriously. If the meeting is just to share information, send an email. If the meeting is just to give an update, send an email. If the meeting is just to sync up or to get on the same page, send a stinking email. Meetings should only exist for two reasons. One, because a decision needs to be made, or two, a problem needs to be solved that requires collaboration in real time. That's it. Everything else is a waste of time. And Bezos knows this. So if he's in a meeting and realizes it could have just been an email, he walks out. Not to be dramatic, but to protect his time and to send a message to his team. Stop scheduling meetings that don't need to happen, because every meeting you schedule is an interruption. It breaks focus, it kills momentum, it costs money, and unless it's absolutely necessary, it shouldn't exist. Just send the email. Let's recap Jeff's two-pizza rule. If the meeting is too big, he leaves. If he's not essential, he leaves. If there's no clear decision maker, he leaves. If the thinking isn't clear, he leaves. If it should have been an email, he leaves. And here's what I've learned from this. Most people treat meetings like they're mandatory, like you have to sit through them no matter what. But Bezos treats meetings like investments. If the return isn't there, you pull out. Now, you probably can't walk out of your boss's meeting. I get it. But you can adopt the mindset. Before you schedule a meeting, ask, can this be an email? Who absolutely needs to be there? Who's the decision maker? Is the thinking clear? And if you're in a meeting that doesn't meet those criteria, realize you're wasting time. Bezos built a trillion-dollar company by protecting time, by saying no to meetings that didn't matter, by walking out when the value wasn't there. You don't have to be a billionaire to adopt that mindset. You just have to value your time enough to protect it. And share this video with your boss or department leader so they can learn about the two-pizza rule too. Let's make meetings great again. I'm Alex, and that's Wealth Unspoken.